All right, there you are. Good morning, everyone. Pittsburgh Property Diva, Coldwell Banker, Murraysville. It's Lauren Klein. It's yours truly, Rob Pratt. As another hour of our weekend is now underway, the 8 o'clock hour. And Lauren and I are going to get a lot to do this hour as far as facing some of these topics that people are facing right now. But what we really love to do is to hear from you, the listeners. Those of you in the audience who have a real estate question in A to Z, whatever it is, she can answer it. She's been doing this for years. So if you have a real estate question, 866-391-1020, $20 bank instant access, KDKRadio.com, and you can text us on the Red Automotive line, the best deal in town. But we're going to begin by talking about you, the buyer in the audience, and what you shouldn't do right smack dab in the middle of your contract. Good morning and happy holidays.
Good morning, happy holidays. And, I was driving in this morning and I thought, it was such a long week, and I was on the seller side of 3 transactions that closed this week that every single one of them closed late, and all for basically the same reason, and that the buyers didn't follow instructions to their lenders. And I think that, so we're driving in this morning, and Chris said to me, what are you going to talk about? And I said, well, I think I want to focus on what buyers don't want to do while they're in the middle of a real estate transaction on the mortgage end of things, because it feels like it's a really long process, 45 or 60 days. But for us agents, there's a lot of stuff going.
Line, the best deal in town, Pittsburgh Property Diva, Coldwell Banker, Murraysville, Lauren Klein, husband Chris Klein, of course, Pittsburgh Beautiful. They are streaming right now live on her site, his site. It is Facebook, so if you want to check it out, I advise you to do so. But listen, what about getting your credit in order before you even take that first step?
Well, that's important too. Sometimes people don't know what their credit score is like, and they call me and they say, I really want to buy a house. So the first thing that I do is say, well, let's get you pre-approved.
Okay.
And I'll have them reach out to, their bank of choice or their lender of choice, or if they need a recommendation, I can make a recommendation. But they will pull your credit and they will ask you questions. How long have you been at your current job? How long have you been in the industry that you work? So they like to see about 2 years of full-time work behind you, and your credit score, and any debt that you have. So they have what's called a debt to income ratio. And if your debt to income ratio is too high, you may not qualify. So you may get instruction or some coaching from a lender who will kind of walk you through what to pay down and what to pay attention to. Make sure you pay those credit cards every month, and your car payment. It all affects your credit. And so that's one of the most important things you want to find out if you don't know your credit score, is what's it look like, and what can I do to rehabilitate it if I want to buy a house, because it's very important.
All right, listen, if you have any questions for her, our phone number is 866-391-1020, $20 bank instant access, KDKRadio.com. Text us on the Red Automotive line. She is here until 9 o'clock. Lauren Klein, Pittsburgh Property Diva. It is, of course, Coldwell Banker, Murraysville. Just before we take a break, and we're going to come back and talk about an open house that you have in Canonsburg, the spring inventory, where we are right now, is it kind of like, okay, let's put the bow on it, wrap it up, and get ready for a new year, or are you still doing deals?
I'm still doing deals. I think I got 2 properties under agreement this week, and I have listing appointments. Now I'm kind of, next week I'm going on a lot of listing appointments for everybody that wants to list in January and February. Mm-hmm. So the sooner you get started on the whole process, the easier it will be when you hit that spring market, when we have more buyers out than we do this time of year, and the inventory increases and the competition gets a little tighter. So I was waiting for things to kind of die down, but I'm still really busy.
Can you imagine what it's like moving right now?
Well, people do it all the time.
If you're
I
out
said, I had
there,
3
good luck.
closings this week. There's people moving all over the place.
Well, hey, Moving. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll come back again. If you have any questions about real estate, this is the show. It is the Pittsburgh Property Diva, Lauren Klein, Coldwell Banker, Murraysville, 866. All of our lines are open. Ashley Funyak, our new weekend producer, standing by to take your calls. 866-391-1020. Dollar Bank, instant access, KDKRadio.com. And you can text us on the Red Automotive line, the best deal in town. Stay with us. Read about it, but there are those who still care about the utility bills and what they're paying every month, and winter is upon us. So I think we've all noticed things are changing in the house to where you have to think, I'd like to get that, but you know, I've got that gas bill coming later this month. So how do you approach that with people if they ask, especially?
Well, I'm very budget conscious with my buyers, especially the first time home buyer who, you know, they have saved, they have looked and watched their credit and you know, kept it together.
Right.
When I am showing them houses and they find something they really like, and I'm able to do an estimated cost sheet for them with their interest and their monthly payment and their cash to close, I want them prepared for home ownership, and it's important that you look at the monthly utility bills. Now, if you have a house that's been vacant for a while, you're not going to get accurate readings for regular usage. And the same goes for if you're one person buying a house that was occupied by 4 people, the water's going to be different, the electricity is going to be different. Maybe somebody likes it, you know, 80 degrees in the house in the winter time. So, you know, just to get a good idea of what those utility expenses are like, and then adjust it to your usage and your budget, of course.
Or as my dad would say, put some clothes on.
Well,
wear a sweatshirt.
Well, we needed socks at my house, a sweatshirt, and then a robe, and we always had this joke that my dad would not turn the heat on until Thanksgiving. So we would be all lathered up and freezing cold and complaining. But I think, Dad, I know if you're listening, you'll call me. I do think that he's let my mom turn the heat on before Thanksgiving.
Just don't tell the kids.
But we didn't even have air conditioning in my house until I left for college. So we had fans.
My dad could have been a detective for the great Pittsburgh police force, because if you just even touched the thermostat, you know, barely just moved it.
No, listen, you weren't even allowed to look at the thermostat.
A millimeter. He would come home and say, all right, who was playing around with the thermostat? Like, Dad, what are you talking about? So I blamed it on the dog. You know what I'm saying?
No, but you do have to make sure, like, when you leave the house in the morning, you don't need the heat on.
No.
69 or 70 degrees or whatever you keep it on. Turn it down a little bit during the day when you're not home, and turn it on when you get home. And they have so many, all these smartphone
you can
apps
do it from wherever you're at,
in this Nest thing that you can put in your house. I don't have a Nest. We just kind of set ours to come on and off when we're home. But you can program it from your cell phone and have a schedule, and it turns off and on, and your lights go on and your lights go off.
And the stuff today is a lot more energy efficient.
It is. With your newer furnaces and newer mechanicals.
Now, should you look at all of that stuff? I mean,
yes, absolutely.
But what happens if you don't even know how to replace a furnace filter? Did I mention my name?
Well, no. You know, your home inspector, these home inspectors that I use and recommend, they're There are lots of good home inspectors out there. I have a few that I like to do business with because they take time
Look at all that.
with that buyer. And the buyer, I encourage my buyers to go to the home inspection, and the home inspector will say, here's where your furnace filter is, here's how you change it. You should change it once a month or once every other month, and it will, you know, preserve the life of your furnace. Get it serviced every year. They'll show you how to change the temperature on the hot water tank, all of that kind of stuff. Most people don't know how to do it. In fact, I still don't know how to do it. So
Your dad right now is going that.
yeah, my dad is probably horrified.
You
I
know,
don't know how to
that
change a
is-
tire.
That is one thing that I really salute our parents for, and I'm a whole lot older than you and your husband, but they just learned out of necessity. And you know, at this time of year, you get nostalgic. You think
It's a privilege and a pleasure that I can't put words on.
that. Tell you what else is the greatest feeling in the world? Paying your house off.
Right?
I've been there. To this day, I can still remember literally doing cartwheels down the sidewalk.
I have never done that.
I just
Not
felt like
yet.
that my dad was finally proud of me.
Yes.
Like him saying, "You knucklehead, you
You
finally
did
figured
it."
it out, right?" You know. That was one of the greatest days of my life. Let's go to Ann in Penn Hills. Ann, how you doing? Welcome to KDKA Radio.
Oh, good morning.
Morning, Ann.
Good morning. Good morning, Lauren. I'm just calling to say what a fun experience it was for me for my first time home purchase with you. I just wanted to let the listeners know that all the I's were dotted and T's were crossed with you for my transaction.
Well, thank you.
And I also remember when I called you one day and said that I sent the mortgage information out and they requested it a second time, and I was a little miffed, and you said, just send it again.
Right? I know. And people get really frustrated and they get really almost offended. And, you know, yes, it's not personal. It's all business.
Yes, and I remember you picked the house for me. We walked in the house. We signed the paperwork that day, and we went through the process, and I even got that seller's assist, which I thought was pretty neat.
Well,
So I just want to tell the listeners how you made the transition smooth, and I still love my home.
well, thank you for calling.
Great story.
Happy holidays.
You're welcome.
All right.
Happy holidays to you.
See, now money's nice, but that's
That
really
was-
that's what makes it all worthwhile.
It does.
I mean, when you do that for somebody, I mean, you realize that there they are Saturday morning in that home, and they hear you on the radio, and they're like, you know what, I'm going to call in just because without her, none of this would be possible.
It warms my heart.
It should.
It does.
You've done good.
Thank
All right,
you.
we're going to talk spring inventory when we come back. And then this listing in Canonsburg. Absolutely love Canonsburg, one of the best parts of western Pennsylvania down there in Washington County. 866-391-1020, Dollar Bank, Instant Access, KDKRadio.com. And you can text us on the Wright Automotive line, the best deal in town. Susan Rauscher is going to be here. Truly an organization I have the utmost respect for, Pittsburgh Catholic Diocese, Pittsburgh Catholic Charities. She will be here coming up next hour to talk about an amazing place helping older men, and many of them veterans. I hope you'll stay with us for that. And then coming up in the 10 o'clock hour, the guys from True Value, last minute holiday gift giving ideas, back from the Antarctic to tell her story. It is a audio postcard with Marita Williams, AAA Central Talking Travel. She's the head of product development. Noon hour, how much is that doggy in the window? Petland Pittsburgh Mills. Alan Kaplan will be here with Nan Cohen. And then Dr. Joseph Honigman and Get Well Naturally. And then Roger revisits his interview with Regis McKenna, the guy who built many of the stars like Steve Jobs and others, Bill Gates, in Silicon Valley. Steve.
following is paid for by Property
In
Divas
Canonsburg.
LLC.
These are the people who make Pittsburgh work. This is Pittsburgh Work.
You don't know this, I'll tell you. You're just 2 steps ahead of me all the time. Chris Klein, Lauren Klein, Coldwell Banker. Let's talk about Canonsburg and what you've got going on.
So I just listed a house in Canonsburg, 1008 Coldstream Drive. It's in a new development that is now completely sold out. So,
Boy, that's nice, isn't it?
oh, I'll tell you what. And
Where's it at in Canonsburg?
It's right near the South Point Park.
Oh, boy, that's
okay?
amazing.
So it's right there. Gorgeous neighborhood, all new construction, 5 bedrooms, 4 full bathrooms, 3-car attached garage,
Nice.
Trex deck, patio,
Beautiful.
upgraded kitchen, huge island. Well, I wouldn't know what to do in that huge kitchen because I don't cook, but
You and me both.
it sure is
I'll
pretty.
bring the Pop-Tarts and
Yeah,
we'll talk about it.
It sure is pretty. So I listed it yesterday, $599, and it will be open tomorrow from 12 to 2. So I will be there, and I will have a new agent with me who is doing a little shadow work with me to
Nice.
get her feet wet. And I'm also in the process of a new work
Person hasn't heard about
I
it.
do. I think that I like the localness
Right.
of banks, so that if you have a problem, someone can actually come to you. So some of the lenders I work with are excellent with customer service, and I insist that my clients be treated especially well. From all aspects of that transaction, from the home inspector to the title company, lender, you name it. I want everything to pull together and be very, very nice and smooth and customer service oriented. So I think when you have a local bank and a local originator and a processing department that can help you here. Okay, I'm not calling somebody in Michigan
Yeah, you
or
can go to the
Texas.
dollar bank down the street. Hey, can you help
That's
me?
right. I need help right now. Somebody help me, and people will help you.
I'll tell you, very bright people work in the banking business, and I'm not, just singling any bank
We
out.
wouldn't be able to close houses
No,
without banks.
listen, it would be like, let me count that one more time. No, take the 6 minus the 5.
Right.
I mean,
Let me get my calculator.
I mean,
out.
think about what they do every day.
Yes.
These men and women, and how for the most part it balances at the end of the day. So that's something to be very proud
Very
of.
impressive.
Yeah.
It is.
And by the way, that price on that Canonsburg house.
Mm-hmm.
I have a friend who's actually driving as we speak in California who listens to the Saturday show all the time. He's going to Newport Beach to do something very patriotic. It's called Wreaths Across the Nation. They're going to be putting wreaths out at the graves of veterans and what have you.
Oh, I love
Just
that.
a great guy, rock and roll hero, part of Beaver County history, just a good guy.
That's wonderful.
But, when I hear stories about what it costs to live in California, just to rent a place
Yes.
where you can touch both walls in the living room, like $2,800 a month, we still live in a very affordable neighborhood.
We do. Pittsburgh is one of the most affordable cities that you can find in the country, where and have so much technology and industry and banking, like you said, hospitals, universities, you name it. Pittsburgh has it, and we are still very affordable. There's a house for everybody. I say it every time I'm on the air.
All right, we're going to come back and talk spring inventory. But if you have a question for Lauren Klein, Pittsburgh Property Diva, 866-391-1020. Next hour, the incredible people from the Pittsburgh Catholic Charities, Catholic Diocese of Pittsburgh. Susan Rauscher is going to be here with an amazing story. I hope you'll stay with us for that. And then in the 10 o'clock hour, last-minute holiday gift-giving ideas with Andy Anrime and the crew from the True Value Home Improvement Show. Marita Williams from Product Development, AAA Central Talking Travel, Trip and Cruise of the Week. And don't forget the big travel showcase less than a month away, coming to the David L. Lawrence Convention Center. We'll fill you in on that. And also that time of year to be thinking about memberships and all the great things that you get with having a AAA Central membership. What's happening at Petland Pittsburgh Mills? Great place to pick your treats up for the holiday season and gifts for your pet. And Alan Kaplan will be here talking about that with Nan Cohen. Get well naturally, irregular heartbeat. We're going to be talking about atrial fibrillation and more, and why it's on the rise during the holiday season with Dr. Joseph Honeyman, drweiner.com from the Weiner Wellness Center. And then it's Regis McKenna, the guy who really, because of his marketing savvy, helped people like Steve Jobs and Bill Gates achieve in the very beginning that launching pad that gave them the opportunity to go to the stratosphere with such brands as Microsoft and Apple. And he'll be revisited with his interview on the Raja Show from 2 to 3. So a lot still to come today right here on KDKA Radio. All right, back with Lauren Klein, one more segment. Here's a great Dollar Bank instant access question, Lauren. It says, who pays for the title search, the buyer or the seller?
The buyer.
Okay.
The buyer is paying for the title search. The seller is paying for the new deed to be prepared. Buyer is paying the recording fees for that new deed. Transfer taxes, according to the sales agreement, are split 50-50. And the seller. So each side has their own expenses to pay for. The seller also has municipal lien letters that need to be ordered, and they pay for those as well.
Which means?
That the title company, closing company, reaches out to, let's just say, Forest Hills. And they reach out and make sure that all the taxes are paid, and they get a certificate, and whatever taxes haven't been paid, or if they're if there's an overpayment, that gets calculated at closing. But the seller pays for those municipal lien letters.
Now, do you tell people to get that all into their mortgage payment, taxes, everything, so it basically flows seamlessly? Or
most lenders require an escrow at closing, so that the buyer is funding their escrow account for the next year at closing for their taxes and their homeowner's insurance. And then every month when you make your mortgage payment, you are putting more money into that escrow account, so that when the taxes are due, there's always a surplus of money that's, and your taxes are paid. Mm-hmm. Your homeowner's insurance is paid for you. So when you make your mortgage payment, that's all rolled in there.
All right, let's take this question. And I love when these people call, because you're going to get the facts. This is my opinion why it's best to hire a real estate professional, and particularly Lauren Klein. But it's a question worth being asked. Let's go to the north side and say hi to John. John, welcome to the Pittsburgh Property Diva, KDKA Radio.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Listen, we're interested in a house that's for sale by owner.
Okay.
And I'm just wondering, and they are pretty sure that, they don't want a realtor, believe it or not. But anyways, what would be the first step if this happens, which I'm not sure right now, but would we have to get a lawyer to handle this, or should I get some sort of agreement, a sales agreement first?
Well, have you seen the house and you like the house?
Oh, yeah, we love the house,
okay.
And it's right near our daughter, so that's one reason we want.
Okay, then I'm going to suggest that you hire a real estate lawyer, and you're going to have to pay that lawyer a fee to prepare your sales agreement. The only thing you won't have the benefit of is Are you paying cash or are you getting a mortgage?
Well, I have to get a mortgage.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So what you're not going to have is somebody to walk you through that process. So when you don't have an agent helping you, you kind of have to wing it on your own.
Well, you can't get an agent like to represent us. See, they live in California. Actually, they moved to California. Why they don't want a realtor, I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you why they don't want a realtor. They don't want to pay a realtor. Typically, the seller is paying the commission to the realtor.
Yeah, I understand
So,
that, yes.
but if you as a buyer, wanted to hire a buyer's agent and pay them 3%, or whatever you negotiate,
Oh, okay.
they'll handle that transaction for you, no problem.
I didn't know.
Oh, even though they're out of state. And
It doesn't
I think
matter.
their house is free and clear.
Okay.
What I understood from the neighbors.
Well, you're still going to do your title search and make
Mm-hmm.
sure you have clear title when you close.
Well, that attorney would handle the whole thing.
Busy right now. I'm going on so many listing appointments, so I have a feeling that if I'm going on a listing, lots of listing appointments, there are lots of agents out there going on lots of listing appointments, getting ready for next year. So right now I'm focused on getting my sellers ready to put their house on the market in January, February, March.
When
at
does
the
that
height-
really start to hit?
Really, I'm telling you, my phone blows off the wall in January.
Right at the start.
Right? I don't know what goes on over the holidays or what people talk about.
We want a bigger tree, but we
I
gotta
want
get a bigger house. Right.
I want a smaller house. I want a bigger house. I don't know what happens. Maybe people just have time to stop and think and relax and make new plans for the new year. But my phone blows off the wall in January, and I can't wait.
I was talking to a gentleman yesterday who spent the majority of his life in politics, and he's retired now. We had a nice conversation. Him and his wife, like my age, they're making another move to another, place in another part of. Just because you get a little older doesn't necessarily mean you're done wanting to explore new ways to live.
No,
right?
I have retirees that are looking to upsize, downsize. I want a condo. I want one house here and I want one house in Florida. All sorts of different real estate needs.
What do you think about that whole idea of having a house in Florida?
Well, my parents have a little condo in Palm Beach, and
There's nothing little in Palm Beach.
yeah, well,
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
it's a special little place, but I think it's a nice place to go and take a little break. Would I want to live there? No.
Is that not though? I went there many years ago. You cross that little bridge,
It's lovely.
I mean,
It's a little slice of heaven. It really is.
it is. I mean, there's not a place like it on the
No,
earth.
it is. It's pretty neat.
Pretty incredible. And as soon as I got there, I'll never forget. You have the right to remain silent. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I had a great time. Listen, the whole idea of contract scares people.
It should.
Yes.
It's a contract.
Do you go over this stuff? It's been so long since I bought the house that I had.
What I do, I have such relationships with my clients
Right.
that I really I want to hit the highlights, the most important things, and I manage that contract, whether it's for a seller or for a buyer. I manage it for you so you know what's happening, so you know what's going on. Most people don't even understand the language in the contract. So
it can be a little overwhelming.
it is overwhelming, and I do it every day. I sell houses to people who haven't sold a house in 30 years, who never sold a house, who never bought a house, and that's my job, is to make you
Here's what it comes down,
comfortable.
Lauren. Here's what it comes down to. You have to really trust your agent.
You absolutely
And
do.
that's what I think is so special about you. I mean, as you heard that very first caller today, for someone to call a radio show, I don't care if they love you or not, that still takes a lot of effort. We who do this every day, you think, oh, okay, it's radio. But for people who are not on the radio or have, no reason to be on the radio, for them to do that, that speaks volumes for what you do. So if you take anything away from this program today, take away that a lot of people trust what you do, and that's a good thing.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, and it is very important to me.
Listen, keep up the good work.
Thank you.
All right, and
Happy holidays.
Yeah, happy holiday. We won't see you until after, right?
That's right.
That's
After
right.
the new year.
All right. Well, listen, to you and your husband, Chris, the kids, and obviously parents, just to the whole family, a happy holiday season. Stay with us because we've got a lot more to do today. Now you're going to meet some really interesting people from Pittsburgh Catholic Charities and Susan Rauscher. Wait till you hear what they're doing. I think that you'll find it a real holiday treat, a special message. Stay with us on KDKA Radio.